Welcome to the marketing meeting. Today I have Nemanja Zivkovic as my guest. He's the B2B tech and SaaS growth strategist and the founder of Funky Marketing. Welcome, Nemanja.
Hey, welcome. Nice to meet you, actually. It's been a long time that we had a chat in the inbox, in the comments, all around LinkedIn, and it's, nice to finally put, I've seen you in the videos, you've seen me, but like talking face to face is another thing.
Exactly. But the most important thing about you is that I know a few facts about you. But some of them are related to business, some of them are related to, life. And then, I'm going to share them with you now so that you can see what's how people perceive you.
Nice.
So you have really nice sneakers because I'm obsessed with sneakers as I have like a 20 years background at Nike. And you are so much into basketball. Probably the sneaker culture is also related with that. I don't know. And you are also a lot into music and, dance as well. Is that right?
Yeah, all of those things are true. I think I inherited all of those things from my father, who was a basketball coach, and also was the guy, at least that's what people his age say, who brought like rock and roll music and parties from Belgrade when he was in high school over there to his hometown.
Oh, okay. I used to watch a lot of basketball when I was a kid, and also especially basketball games with your country was like so well, because it's like one of the strongest teams in the world are from that region. So yeah. But on the other side, on the business side, when someone tells me who is the first B2B marketing on top of mind, I'm going to tell your name. So when it's nice. B2B marketing, I would tell Nemanja is the person on top of my mind.
Nice. It's good to know that. I've been thinking about, the topics that we said we're going to talk about and those kind of things. And one thing that stood out for me is, when I started in B2B, I actually said, how do I know am I good at this? Right. So I invited, I think, like around 15 people, some of those, like Zineb, like Yag, like Nick Bennett. I invited them for a conversation to see what's their background. Can we compare? And then I see, okay, we can talk on the same level. I have even more experience that some of the guys have interviewed. So I said, perfect. Now we can discuss.
Yeah, exactly. So, we know that B2B marketing is, and also especially B2B tech marketing is about evolution. And, now technology is evolving every day and it's probably quite refreshing, but a little bit exhausting as well. But it's all about evolution and dynamism. So can you please tell me a bit about how you see the B2B tech marketing space right now?
Yeah, it's definitely like a vibrant ecosystem where, you see everywhere like innovation and agility. But when you dig deeper, you see that actually a lot of companies are stuck in doing things the old way and especially underutilizing the data. I think that's one of the things, because like all the companies do marketing, they do advertising, and they get new data, but they don't do anything with the data they already have, right? So, let's just do the acquisition, retention. Well, we'll think about it later. But basically what I see, and it's, related to the thing that you mentioned, there's a shift happening, I think for a few years already, where like everything is becoming more humanized, the marketing approach, how do we sell through relationship building, right? Not over transactional sales. And when we think that way, then like trust and value becomes the most important thing, especially in the space where I am, when we have like long sales cycles and expensive products. And then, like trust becomes the number one thing. On the other hand, we're going to talk about AI and those kind of things. Now you have tools to actually find out, how is the buyer journey actually going. right? So you can actually, marketing, as I see in B2B, is facilitating the buyer's journey and making sure that, you show your unique differentiation towards your audience, right? So it was supposed to be that simple, not simple in a way marketing creates materials for sales. It has a much higher value for the company than just doing that.
I really liked how you said marketing is not only a department who creates materials for sales. I think it's more than that. There was one interesting article that I read. It's a report from Salesforce. Since you mentioned trust as one of the main pillars of marketing in the B2B tech world, it says that with the use of AI, the trust that consumers have towards the use of AI of B2B tech companies have decreased dramatically over the last 1 year. And actually, consumers are not trusting companies using AI as much as they do before. So I think that's a critical big change that marketing companies need to, B2B companies need to tackle right now, as far as I can see.
It's kind of interesting. It depends what they are using AI for, right? Just saying AI in general doesn't mean anything. Yeah. It's a general feeling, something is fake, sort of like that. But when you think about where I see the application of AI is actually allowing us to have more structured processes, approach even the content. On the other hand, to allowing us to extract the data, the conclusions from the data much better, and then, to do a better research, basically, through that. And by doing that, we actually make it, easier for the buyers to recognize why they should work with us, right? To increase the trust, because we get those conclusions that usually we don't get. But I think it's still that's just overall thought. I think what's not increasing the trust, but actually decreasing it is companies not talking to their customers, and they actually don't know them. They don't see the changes that they're going through, right? We spend time on social media. We spend time in small communities talking with, with some of our peers. We go to the offline meetings or WhatsApp groups when we have also some, people on the same positions as we are, and we talk about the things. Right, all the time. You can reach anybody in just 3 clicks. It's possible. If they will respond, that's another topic. But we can reach out to them, and that changes the whole ecosystem and everything. And also, there's this one thing that, we call it dark social these days, and it's the thing that we cannot track what's happening. In the company Slack channels, inside some communities. How do they come to us? I had a recent example of the guy who is director in Generali insurance company. We were on a huge conference here in Serbia, hosting a workshop about LinkedIn, and basically his head of PR and head of marketing messaged him. He was on a conference and told him, "You need to go to this workshop." So after the workshop, he said it was nice. And then they told him, now schedule a meeting with those guys. Right. So yesterday we had a meeting right away. And, and one thing that also was the breaking point is that we watch Partizan game at night. He was over there. He appears to be a fan. So that was additional plus. So you see people following you, people who trust you, then recommend you. Then the C-level comes, and then he sees something personal that relates to him, and then basically you get to the sale.
And that's actually indeed an example of B2B marketing also, what you did over there. But you are meeting a lot of B2B companies right now. What are some of the common challenges or some of the common mistakes that you see that they are doing overall in marketing?
Yeah, let's see. Some of the things that they are not doing regularly, we mentioned, is definitely not talking to their customers, even though they do great job. So both sides are satisfied, but they don't talk. So when they get to the conversation, actually the customers can tell them, can you, create this report? We would pay for it. Can you actually do this in a different way? You have this data, we don't have it, we would pay for it, right? 2 new products, or those kind of things. And you actually know how the things are instead of just assuming things. Then I think the second thing is marketing gets stuck in doing things. So like basically they get their heads deep in the sand, so they don't see the bigger picture. That happens all the time, and usually that's why me and other like fractional CMOs come into the company to help them, see the big picture. Because and it's not just marketing. Usually it's all departments in the company, they get so deep and they are good at what they do for their own function in the company, but based they don't see how it affects the business results, right? And they need somebody to connect the dots and help them with that. Also, there is one thing that I think it's something that relates to a lot of companies, is that when you ask them how do you get the customers, they say to referrals, right? And it's not scalable. Referrals cannot be scaled, and it's something which comes out of providing a great product or a great service, right? So and based on that, it's a little bit tricky. And when you get deeper, you see that it's not a lot of people and a lot of companies that recommend you. Usually it's just a few, right? Yeah. So you basically create a relationship with a few people, not something that you can scale. So you need to go in a different way and actually show them that this is not what you do. Also, one of the things that I'm seeing is, remember one thing that we said, relationship-based and transactional-based. Most of the companies are still just looking at the sale as transactional. We will get what we want out of the customers, and we won't give them anything else or anything additional. So and it makes them focus only on closing the demand, meaning only on the companies which are on the market right now. In B2B, that's a little bit misleading, because it's official stats say 5%, but in my experience it's like around 2% of the companies that are on the market. So it means you're focused on 2% instead of 98%. Right. So, and marketing actually focuses on 98 of those who are not in the market to buy right now. So, from that perspective, you need to build, go before the search. So on social media, in small communities, wherever we said, and actually create a relationship with those people, right? Because there is a situation, let me give you a practical example. Like you buy an expensive product for the factory. Yeah. Not tech related. So it's, outside of tech, and you need to get the new one once in 5 years. Yeah. So you need to be there, to help them regulate the product. You need to be there to keep appearing in front of their eyes for the 5 years. Maybe like management in the company changes, the person you talk with changes, but in 5 years you need to sell them again. So you need to be there, right? So we need to look at a little bit of the bigger picture. Not should we sell now, but why would they buy from us, exactly from us, and how can we make them come to us, exclusively to buy, not from somebody else? Yeah. I see a lot of rush in general, because since it's like one of the companies that I work with is in B2B tech. And the general behavior and pattern that I see in that company, and like also on the other companies that they are working with, is the feeling of rush. Especially, I know that this is something very, also very typical of US. There's like always like a running behind something. But because the technology is evolving so fast, everyone thinks that we need to tap into the sales opportunity as of today, right now, which is not helping the relationships too much. That's the observation that I have in my mind. But for example, for that company, one of the biggest 3 partnerships that we built took us
1.5 years to build, and still we are nurturing it. It's not like final sales. It's just like we are feeling that, okay, we are getting in there, and it took us like 1.5 years. So that's the observation on my side personally. One thing that I need to ask you, yeah, we know that every company has its own strategy, own customer profile, although it doesn't matter if it's B2B tech, and because some companies are bigger, some companies are playing for the mass audience. But what are some of the must-haves that a B2B company should have in their marketing plan? I know that this is like a tactical question that I shouldn't be asking, but if there are like must-haves that you see as of today,
no, actually, I look at it as a strategic question. But tactics are also okay. I'm the one that is going out there and saying that people who didn't work in every single place inside the company and don't understand that every single tactical aspects and every function of the company shouldn't do the strategy. Right, because they weren't in that position, and I always like, even up to this day, I like to, do something tactical on the side, just to stay in the game and see what's happening. But I will tell you like 3 things that are the foundation in my way of thinking. First is having a compelling, strategic narrative, which is the story of the company. Usually, when I work in tech companies, like there's a gap because they have product people who are just inbound oriented. So like just building the product, not outbound oriented, where they think about the marketing and the story while building the product, right? And then it becomes a problem later. So strategic narrative, it's, the playground that we play in, how do we play in, why are we different, all those things. Now, depending on the company and how it is, if it's, for example, a startup that is bringing the new narrative, I like to use Andy Ruskin's strategic narrative style in like 5 points, which is more or less like a fairy tale, which goes like, the first one is name the change. It should be bigger than anything else, because it should stand for like 20 years, and it's something that is obvious to everybody. The second one, in all versus new or good versus bad, when we actually get the numbers and show them that it's not all in our head, that it's actually happening and why it's relevant for them. We have then the promised land, which is, we show them then the leapfrogs, the best companies are already in that, and they're falling behind. Then on the fourth point, we actually bring in the product. How are we different? What are the features? All those kind of things. It's basically called the magic stick, when we are like the lightsaber and they are the Luke Skywalker, or we are Robin, they are Batman. And then on the last one is, a lot of companies need additional things. So we show them examples of who did we take to the promised land, right? Cases, success stories, testimonials, but also materials for somebody who is like account champion to sell on their own inside the company. So when we have all those things, only then we move into the content strategy and all those things. So the second point is content production and distribution system, when we actually, pick up the channels where we're going to play, and then we, these are the types of content that we're going to go with. Usually it's the long form content pillars, like longer videos like this one, or it's an article, or it's a research, depending on who do they have in the company. Do they have like people who are, willing to go and record a video or something like that? Or do they have people who are not a fan of doing videos? And basically distribution is the most important part here. And a lot of companies basically don't figure out distribution ever, because it's mainly manual. Up to this point, we can use AI to help them create, smaller pieces of content outside of the big content pillar, but we still need to distribute it in a different way. For example, like on social media, we can schedule them, but on Reddit, we need to infiltrate inside the community, inside the subreddits, and see how they work. so we can, know how do we distribute those things. And the third one is basically the offer that delivers the tangible value, because like the offer needs to be compelling enough that somebody will choose us, the company that possibly they don't know, based on looking at like the problem is that big that I'm going to choose this guy. They have a couple of success stories with a company similar like us, so we're going to go with them. On the other hand, the way we tell the story, if you want to sell to a bigger company, then we look for somebody who is I don't know, like head of innovation or something like that, somebody who is always looking for the new tools, new products, something like that. And because basically, if we are a smaller player inside trying to sell to bigger companies, it's too slow. The whole sales process is too slow. So we're trying to find shortcuts, and shortcut is going personal, one-on-one, right? Finding the right person who will recognize what we do and basically, fast forward the whole sales process and how they adapt what we sell. So those are like the main points that I see, and they're relevant for each company, even for us, for Funky Marketing, like as a service company. We talked about sharing like an example of the strategy. Basically, this is what we did. In 2020, we ride the wave of the changes going from lead generation to demand generation. I think Chris Walker was the one who was leading the wave, and then it was me and a couple of other people going after them. And, so basically we knew our narrative. We knew how do we create content with other people. So, we get the reputation from them. And then basically, distributing them seamlessly every day on LinkedIn. It was at one moment like 7 of us, all distributing the narrative in their own way, personalized. And, it got to the point when people consider us the competitors of Refine Labs, and we are nowhere close to them. Today, not so ever. We are totally different companies, but even, in 2020 when it started, I knew that we cannot be compared to them. And what's good enough, like, we got some referrals, like some clients referring, they were referring clients to us. So that was kind of an interesting. On outside, everybody seems like, oh, they are competitors, but inside we are really together, because like not one company can make the change.
Exactly.
It needs to be a couple of others.
Well, I mean, especially the content creation and distribution part, because oftentimes it's like this. I think this goes on. This is not a new trend, but like since the social media is this, widely used, everyone is obsessing the content creation and, okay, how nice could it be? Like, what's the messaging and so on? And we spend a lot of time, 90% of the time, about creating the content. And then later on, nobody talks about distribution. Okay, they say, okay, we're going to share it on our all social channels and that's it. Distribution, people think that distribution is that. Actually, sometimes it can be one person who's your brand advocate on YouTube, and then it can lead to a viral post going through them, which is also distribution. And we usually tend to forget about that. It's great to hear the things that are fundamentally correct as a part of the marketing plan. For example, in B2C, the things that I see is not working is especially for, let's say, FMCG brands and so on. The paid ads are really, it's still working, but compared to 3 years ago, it's really just a broken link now. Are there any things that in the B2B marketing that is hard to sustain and that is maybe not longer working?
Yeah, like competition is on a totally different level, especially in B2C, and I can see why it's happening. Like every channel is working. It all depends how much money we have, right?
Yeah.
So and what's the best option for us in B2B? Well, definitely what I think is changing, it's with the role of companies recognizing the role of marketing. I think the way we have sales structured is changing, right? The role of SDRs become the role which is, integrating with marketing, because like the way it is now, SDRs and only like have one goal, and is to schedule the calls. And then
meaning by
SDR,
could you open that up for people that don't know it? SDR.
Yeah, basically, when you look at sales, you have sales development representative, which is somebody who schedules the call, takes the lead and schedules the call with them, and then account person takes over and it's there to close the sale.
Yeah.
Right. So when you look at it from why are we talking about this, maybe stop working, because you have too many touch points and too many chances to have a fraction in the buying cycle. Right. Yeah. So it's marketing first, then comes the SDR, then comes SDR creates the trust, schedules a call, and then come AI, totally new person to close the deal. Right. And then we have customer support and all those other people. And, with marketing doing the right things, they come to us, and you don't need 10 or 20 people in the sales. You have 2 or 3 which have the experience and can close the deals and can close them on a higher rate. So that's one of the things that is changing. Also, a lot of companies do just lead generation advertising, basically digital sales. And, in most of the companies, marketing, besides going to the conference booths, creating materials for sales, are also doing digital sales, so lead gen. And in this point, there's nothing wrong with doing lead gen, but there are phases before that happens. It's the same as in B2B. First, we need to create the awareness, right? And when I look at it in B2B, we know exactly who the companies are to whom we are selling. We know exactly the people on the right positions. So, the things that we just said, distributing the content inside the feed, those kind of things, if we add advertising to it, it's basically making sure that the right people are consuming each thing that we post, each piece of content. And then basically we follow the impressions. So we need to communicate to the C-level that, this is what we are following in this stage. We don't expect companies to close. We just want them to consume. And if we say, these are 50 companies we are targeting by name, and we can show them impressions that they're actually seeing the ads, they are actually coming to the website, watching the videos, then they can see that, okay, that's right. Then in the second phase, basically what we usually do is making them do a step further. So commenting or liking or coming to the website to consume something, right? Watch the video, those kind of things. Usually memes work very well in that stage. People usually say, especially now in B2B, it's corpo environment, those kind of things, memes. But if you look at it I'll give you an example. Elena Verna is one of the top 10, let's say, people with product-led growth, marketing and sales. She posts only memes.
Oh, okay.
Right. when you Google product-led content memes, her memes are on top of the search feed, for example. Not many people think about that, and
she has a differentiated position.
Exactly. And it's easy to show, emphasize some of the things through memes, and people react to them. Also, what I like to do is one more. I learned from somebody on LinkedIn that I don't know the name of the person. It's one post that I save and I implemented them in a lot of companies. It's we have a thing that we do as a company, for example, the head of the website, and we extract the keywords from it. Then we use them inside the, how do we call it, stock photos to come up with something. And it can be the example that I have, it's cybersecurity. So we have somebody walking over the, huge hall. And basically we just edit that it looks more scary. We take that photo, we write the copy, then we ask the ChatGPT to give us what am I missing? What can I do better? We add the social proof from the website. We add the numbers. We add the pricing, those kind of things. And then we have completely new visual that nobody else has. that resonates exactly with the audience. They will react to it. So it's not like corpo, boring design, those kind of things. It's actually something completely new, right?
Yeah.
So that's the second step when we follow who is reacting to our ads, but also like organic and not and paid. So we watch both. We watch who's coming to the website a couple of times, watch like 30% of the video, and more than 30%, let's call it like that. And then we go to the sales phase. And then we have like, download this, lead magnet, schedule a call, get a demo, whatever it is. Because like those people are now like warm leads. And, retargeting is the biggest thing on LinkedIn, but not many companies actually have that many people on the website if we exclude the corporations. Right. So, and LinkedIn Inside tag, that might be useful for the people. It's different than Facebook ads tag or some other tags, like because it collects the data from Google, from Facebook, from everybody that comes to the website. And you can, if they are on LinkedIn, you can retarget all of those people. And that's why it's much more powerful, and we can segment much more, people and go into details.
Still, LinkedIn ads, is it too expensive? Because I know that it was extremely expensive compared to other social media platforms. Is it the case still?
Yeah, let me give you. That's actually a good question, and it's nice that you ask. So, like, when companies look at the cost per acquisition, they usually look only the part of the cost. They look at, like LinkedIn showing you cost per acquisition. That's it. So they don't look at, there's a budget for advertising. There's a marketing person doing the advertising. There's a person creating the content. There's a salesperson that needs to close the deal. Or in this case, we said it's SDR and AI. So like 2%. So like, it's a lot more than like, I don't know, like $50, right? So the costs are a lot more. So it's like at least 500. And companies try to go, let's go as low as possible, right? When you look at how much your product costs, it's totally different things. So we don't have the right perspective from that side. On the other side, there's, if you look at in general, they are more expensive than like Facebook ads or Google ads. But, you get more detailed targeting. And there is one thing, it might be interesting for the listeners, thought leadership ads, something that is the newest feature of LinkedIn ads. And since it's the newest one, it's the cheapest one, they are promoting it, which means like we can now boost as a company the posts of the people from the company that says on LinkedIn that they are working in a certain company. And they need to be not older than 3 months, and then basically we can boost them. People see the posts or their CEO or somebody else from the company in the feed. They click on it. They come to the post, not somewhere else. They come to the post, and basically through that we are building awareness of the leaders of the company as well. And LinkedIn announced that in a short period of time, those ads should be available to everybody. They just need to accept. And I think that was the reason why you probably saw it as I did. There were a lot of, advisors of the startup. My view of that is basically they needed to have a function inside the company so they can boost their posts through the company pages. And now they don't need to do that anymore.
But for example, for you as Nemanja Zivkovic, so you are going to give a thought leadership ad for your company, and you do a post and you can promote it. And does it show as a promoted post also, like with a special tag on it? Or is it just like I see your post and I don't see if it's promoted or not?
Most people won't ever see the difference.
Oh, okay.
That's I think the most important
because
thing.
When you see that it's an ad and it looks right, it's promoted somewhere, and then it's suddenly changing value. That's why I wanted to ask.
Before this happened, we needed to like take a screenshot of the post and edit as a picture, but now we can just boost the post.
That's a nice one. That's a really nice one. How about like the one final question about the ads? I also have like in US, there's like so many distribution channels, like news outlets, digital news outlets. Then they say, okay, we have like a customer database of like 100,000 people. And we also distributed this to this amount of websites and so on. I wonder if there's any like a way to figure out which is the correct platform to find that out, because LinkedIn is a platform that everyone uses, and it's very common to use LinkedIn ads. But with these type of distribution channels, I don't know if I'm just trying hard to understand if it should go through a PR agency or there should be like a digital. It's a complete, because in US there's like there's vast amounts of companies and services, so that's why I was just like, okay, should it go through a media agency, through a PR agency, or whatever? I couldn't decide on that.
Yeah, you mean who's going to run the ads?
No, I mean, like, there are those type of ads that you just pay, for example, $1,000, and then they distribute your message to so many outlets, and some of them are scam. I found that, but it's like a huge big world. Probably it's better to leave those to the media agencies that are, completely focused on that thing, I guess.
Yeah, I love to just avoid all of those things. What I like to do, and it's a little bit different approach. I like to learn from the customers, like which other companies in that space are they following, or like which other products that they are using, right? And then if we have the same target group and we are not competitors, we can do research together. Like I don't know, Databox does all those things, partners up with different companies. They help them run the research, those kind of things. I think Peplaya with Winter is doing some similar things. And then basically through the partnership, you get exposed to their audience as well. That might help. Also, what I like to do is, let's add another way of using ChatGPT. It's like asking him, give him the data about the company, about USP, about target group, everything that you have, and ask him, which companies I can partner with to reach more of my target audience. And then you don't look at the most obvious choices, because most of them you will know, but you look at those non-obvious, and then do the research additionally, to ask, why did you suggest this company? Or why this? For example, it would be like you and I talk, you mentioned Nike, and maybe, I should talk to Nike and do something, that I didn't think of, at first. Those can be the things. Also, like partnering up with event organizers. That can be great. I think not many companies in B2B space are actually utilizing the research. In-depth research, no matter if it's like content, creating the research to have additional content, on doing it from different purposes. I think that one can leverage a lot of things, especially if you look at it like it can be the entry point for a founder, for a subject matter expert to go and be a guest on different podcasts, or be featured in Forbes, in a lot of PR. Like we can partner up with PR companies and those kind of things, but we need to give them something, consumable, something that creates a leverage for us, so they can do their job as well on the side.
As we are talking about research, what are some of the top AI tools that you are using, or you see B2B tech companies using a lot?
Yeah, I don't use a lot of tools. Of course, like I use, as everybody, like Notion and Mito and those kind of draw some things and sketch them up. As I use ChatGPT to kind of give you an example. I do a conversation with, for example, a customer of my client to figure out how their things happening, and I ask a lot of questions. How did they buy? How would they sell this product if they are selling it? like what's the best part of the product, how would they go if they go look at it, who are the influencers in the space they are following, which newsletters, websites, events, all kind of things. I ask everything. And then basically just tell to ChatGPT to kind of extract me the data through the actually the product discovery cycles. So like awareness, consideration, all those phases, and tell him, if you don't find something that you don't know, mark it with, I don't know, like write unknown or something like that. And basically it gives me the overview, leaves the unknown things that he doesn't get from the interview. So I need to dig deeper. But then basically when I have like 5 conversations and I connect them all together, and I said like do the same for all 5 now, gather the data together. I have a really nice overview of what's actually happening, right, in each phase. And since I already asked the people, how would you sell it? I asked them, ChatGPT, extract me how would, what will you do in each phase that we actually convert people to the next phase. So I get also those things.
Wow. Okay. So, I mean, it means that usually at the research and ideation pieces that you use it.
Also I use it also for distribution. I just realized that like last week I was crafting a document. Usually I do it manually, right? I have an article from the website. Then I basically, create a post out of it, choose the most important part of the post. And I said, this should go on the visual. And then basically the whole design should follow and emphasize what's written in that line. And now I can use ChatGPT for that. Basically, when I write instructions from the company, I tell them use this prompt. Right? It's much easier, and I get to have the execution, which is not discussable, right? Usually the people, should I know how to do it? What should I choose? And in this way, like ChatGPT will give them what to use.
Yeah, perfect. But some people I saw that like they are using ChatGPT together with Gemini, and I see a lot of perplexity. I don't know if I if I have a spelling error there. But I mean, like it's interesting because in terms of research, do you have any other places that you do research through AI tools?
I was using Jasper for like 2.5 years, I think. I think everybody find out about it. Then I stopped using it because we got ChatGPT and all those kind of things. But it helped a lot. Basically, we wrote like really in-depth briefs. Yeah. Then basically feed the Jasper with those kind of things, and then re-edit, check the data, and all kind of things. And we were able, like the team of 3. To write 50 in-depth articles, SaaS, tech topics that nobody else writes about, with, I think, average is 5,500 words.
Okay, wow.
And those are not like AI articles, like it had human touch in them, examples from the brief, all those things. But like Jasper at that time was helping us do it much more faster.
But now not, right?
Yeah, now we're not doing that much of writing. So I guess we would do more or less the same, right? So it just makes us faster.
To close the conversation of AI, especially yesterday, like 2 days ago, one of the best posts that I saw on LinkedIn was like, everybody is trying to create content with AI, but nobody wants to read AI created content.
I saw that one too, yeah.
I was like, okay, I mean, like, this is a very important insight. I think that's something that will probably change the way we see content. And in that, I see that trust and authenticity, like the trusted experts, the voice of the experts will play a very important role in the sea of AI generated content, which no one wants to read, actually. So as a close...
One thing related to that, what you can do, if you have like optimized LinkedIn profile, you can download it. and create your own GPT that will use your tone of voice on your profile to edit your posts. For example, it will write in your own style. And it's actually nice, or you can teach it to kind of write for your own audience so that it gets attention to your target audience if you know exactly who those people are.
Wow. I mean, since I didn't train myself too much on ChatGPT, I'm using ChatGPT 4 as well. And I use it a lot to ideate thoughts and, sometimes come up with like a copy or so on. But I find it easier to write instead of, discovering what ChatGPT can provide me. I just find it very easy to write it on my own. So I was just like, okay, I'll just don't leave it to ChatGPT. I'll take care of it on my own. And it's also, it's my voice at the end of the day, but I'll try that just to explore what can be done there. But I would like to finalize the conversation with how you work, because I know that you're a fractional CMO too. The companies that you were, and you are also giving fractional CMO services as well as a 30-day marketing audit. When you do fractional CMO services, is it more like an advisory role, or you just, help them with whatever a CMO would do?
Yeah, let me give you an overview because they are all connected. There's one more thing, is marketing sprints. So basically, I start with audit, right? Yeah. It's the first step when I actually analyze what's happening and analyze how people are coming to the website, through Google Search Console, what are they doing on the website through Google Analytics. I check out the CRM if I can. Not every company allows that. I also give them a questionnaire of like 20 questions. When I ask them some of the questions we mentioned, but some additional as well, I get the name of the competitors, those kind of things. Then I also look at the names of the competitors, how are they doing when it comes to the advertising, in which channels that they are playing. Also, like, who's the category leader? You usually see that through the ads, because they're bidding on the names of the biggest company over there. What's their strategic narrative? You see that on the head section of the website. How are they communicating what they do? I also check, SEMrush and those kind of similar tools to see what's happening over there. And then basically, I ask to talk to, 5 existing customers, and if possible, 5 customers that, that are not longer with the company. Usually it's extremely hard to get to those 5. Sometimes I just, do it on my own. Yeah. I send them a message on LinkedIn, or I just, if I can get the names from the company, that's the hardest thing. Yeah. And basically when I have all those things, I can, have an overview and exactly draw the customer's journey and how it's happening. So I know exactly, how to set up the strategy and what's going on. It's much clearer. I don't dare to come up with assuming that something for one company that we did, no matter if it's similar, works for the others. I ask to go into those conversations and do it before I draw some things, because, imagine that you are in a tunnel, you don't see, and you get out of the tunnel, you see the light. That's how it looks like, right? When you know exactly and you hear it from the customers. Usually somebody from marketing goes with me on those calls. And it's actually funny when, I get, the conclusions that I got from analyzing the website. I get that from the customers. And like the person from marketing laughs and say, Nemanja already told us, but the thing is, that's the first phase. And, I can and do only
you don't
that
have strategy in there, right? It's just like an audit of what's going on, not what we should be doing.
Yeah, usually I need to give them recommendations of what they're gonna do. So it needs to end up with the strategy. So what's going on and what they should do, like a yearly plan overview. The thing is that, to come up with the strategy and everything in 1 month, it means that I need to stop everything that I'm doing, on a site. That's why it's cost $17,000. Because it means, I need to do everything 1 month just for one company. And, it's there because, once or twice companies requested that. But usually I do it in span over a year, and that's like fractional CMO role. When I enter the company, analyze the things, start up, connect the dots between departments, and basically I'm there to help them execute the strategy. So I'm not just coming there to this, and then I'm gone. I'm staying and helping them execute the strategy. If they have the right team, perfect. If not, I help them either hire somebody to do specific things, or I have my own team that can jump in, if it's needed. So that's like fractional CMO. It can be like 6 months or a year. I like to work in a yearly span, and that's usually like 2 companies per year that I get. And there are marketing sprints, which is basically we set up a goal. It can be a goal of, I don't know, do the ABA campaign with this goal, or it can be set up a muscle, for example, like a podcast inside the company that they will use further. It can be organized like online conference in 3 months. They will use to get leads. All depends what it's their goal, but that's like a 3-month span that we can go, and basically we work in sprints.
Yeah. So like building a campaign, like it can happen. For the fractional CMO role, when you do the fractional CMO role, is there a marketing coordinator or manager or a team in place when you take over those roles, or you find those people on your own?
Yeah, that's something that I had to learn, because it's much easier to get to the companies that don't have a team. And they will react most likely. But then it means that you actually need to be hands-on and do a lot of stuff. And they realize like best fit for me is the company that have like 7 to 8 people inside their marketing team, which means already doing something. Usually it's the execution part. In most of the companies, that's what it is. Then I need to help, bring that together with the part when we are building long-term, building a brand, and, connect those 2 things. But I had a situation where there was like 5, 6 people in the company. Usually those are the people, and that's one of the problems that I mentioned, those were the people who are like creative director level. They know how to do videos. I don't need those people. I need people who can execute. Right. So, and usually when I come in like a couple of weeks, company fires those people. And I always say, I'm not the one who said that you should fire them. They realized it by looking at the strategy, looking at the plan, looking at those things. They need to come up later, with those people and their skills and those kind of things. So I usually like when the company has a team, and that's why I moved to working with, mid-sized companies to, usually I like to say that it's a safe place if you don't have like 5 to 15, millions in revenue. You don't need a CMO in-house. You need somebody fractional to help you sort out the things and get you to some level when it comes to the revenue. So you actually, can employ somebody in-house. And, after 6 months or a year, we can figure out that, we are the right fit, so I can maybe stay in-house, or I help them get somebody who will go in-house and continue the work.
Because the dilemma that I have right now as a fractional CMO is like the biggest company that I work with, they don't have a team. It's been a year that we are working together, and I am the one who's building the team, both externally and internally. So, which means it's just like I'm time to time the person that is the, even lower than the assistant brand manager. It's just like, okay, to send this and that, which is not working. So it's like also a very, it's a discovery process for me as well. So that's why I wanted to ask, if there's a team in place, then as you said, the team might not be working. And usually, oftentimes, those companies think that they don't need a CMO yet because there is a team that is executing, kind of. But if there's no team, I add a lot of value because I bring in the team together. But then for me, it's just like, for a couple of months since the team is getting together, it's too much hands-on work. So that's also the sharing on my side.
That was the reason why I downscaled Funky Marketing as an agency, because basically we were doing the execution, somebody else was doing the strategy, and based on the wrong strategy, we couldn't execute the results until the end, the way I wanted them to be. So I said, okay, I'm going to downscale it, and I'm going to come inside the companies, and then if they don't have a team, I will have my team. At the same time, I don't need to employ the most experienced people in-house. I can just work with them. So I can depend on a project. I can dedicate a person, and most of the people that I'm working with have like more than 10 years experience. So you get a team which is highly experienced in what they do.
And it's fractional.
Yeah. And it's a huge benefit for the company.
Yeah. That's I think like a fractional marketing services model that a lot of fractional CMOs are trying to run away. Actually, they are trying to run away from execution. Whereas on my side, I see that when I'm involved in the execution, it doesn't mean that I need to write the copy of a social post. But when I'm involved as a fractional CMO in the organization, it creates a lot of value for the customer. But since you have your team, I think that's even better. Thanks a lot, Nemanja. I mean, like, especially the last part, and also like all the discussions we had, helped me learn the B2B marketing space much better.
Yeah, thank you for asking great questions. I was looking at the topics, and I'm like, this is nice. I didn't talk much about these things, so it's great to go through all those things. And especially with you have a different angle coming from B2C and years of experience. So it's nice to have a conversation.
Thank you so much.